What is clear is that the EU has gone through a process of agencification in the last years, as it has been said by many academics. European agencies represent clearly a part of the EU institutional executive, as pointed out by Ellen Vos. Well, the development of the agencies in the area of freedom, security and justice has led to the multiplication of activities carried out by these agencies. The expansion of activities has taken place not only through the legislative process, but also through the dynamic development in the performance of the activities, or also through political decisions. A good example is the hotspots, where different agencies work together to deal with this, with the mass influx of migrants and refugees. It has been pointed out by different speakers that we are going through a process of joint implementation or shared responsibility. The panel was focused on the impact of the new monitoring and steering functions. The word control is used in some academic words, academic papers. I think the agencies themselves don't like this word because they don't want to control the member states. What is the picture that arises from these changes and developments? Well, the establishment of the new Frontex and in the future the revamped EASO are perceived as a good step in the right direction. And these steps will lead clearly to a kind of hierarchical relationship, placing the agencies above national authorities. In both agencies, as it has been well explained, the vulnerability assessment and the monitoring mechanism tend to reach the same outcome. However, from a practical perspective, in both cases, there's a clear need to adopt an operational plan. Frontex can go within the application of Article 19 of the new regulation to a certain country if there's an operational plan. The same is foreseen in the case of EASO. Therefore, at the end of the day, we clearly will need an agreement with the member state concerned if we want to apply the nuclear power or the nuclear function, as it has been called. Another key issue is the relationship between the autonomy of the agencies and independence. Lilian pointed out in her presentation and also in a paper published a few days ago different options to reach a good balance. However, this issue is not easy to resolve. It's not easy to provide a good solution. Accountability. What about accountability? It has been said by some academics that we need to go towards more accountability structures. In my opinion, we have enough accountability mechanisms. As Richard Harris pointed out, there are several democratic accountability mechanisms today. However, it could be researched whether the accountabilities we have in place give satisfactory results. The changes introduced by the Lisbon Treaty have led to an improvement of the controls over the activities carried out by EASO and Frontex. A good option, perhaps, it would be to set up a joint parliamentary scrutiny, like in the case of Europol was done in the past. Another option that has been established, that has been proposed, is to establish a Libby subcommittee dedicated to parliamentary supervision of agencies working in the area of freedom, security, and justice. But, in my opinion, there's no need to establish new accountability mechanism. Otherwise, we will have too many accountability mechanisms, as it was pointed out by some academics. In conclusion, the EU should progress to a more centralized system in the area of border management and asylum, or at least to a system that includes more solidarity in these areas. Anyway, there is a risk of politicization of the agencies when conducted the vulnerability assessment and also the monitoring mechanism. It is true that we have to acknowledge that agencies can be instrumentalized in practice, but it's not easy to get away of this tension. It's not easy to find a right balance between autonomy and independence. Finally, I think we cannot also forget judicial control. It is true that it's not easy to prove that Frontex or EASO are responsible for dealing with particular cases. However, sooner or later, a case will arrive to the General Court to deal with this issue. In conclusion, in my opinion, we are still dealing with intergovernmental agencies, and following Philippe de Broekker's words, we are dealing with an old logic. There is still an old logic behind the new model. This is a sentence he included in his paper published in Odysseus Network, but it was very popular after a paper he published in European papers. And probably we will need to change the treaties to move really to a more centralized or a kind of federalized model. Thanks.